If you're selling in a desert, there is no money flowing there. I had another unicorn product that really, really took off. Um, it was actually pretty crazy and life changing money, like very short time. I've seen people underestimate like how many products there just are that you can use for print on demand. You don't have to do apparel. You don't have to do mugs.
Welcome everyone to the Wednesday Grind. I'm your host, Angel. So Q4 on Etsy isn't about luck. It's about strategy and showing up where the money is already flowing. Today, Anna, a multi-six-figure seller, coach, and partner with Anywhere POD, reveals the exact products winning right now. And some of them are super low competition gems. Stick around until the end to hear about our biggest holiday mistakes and the cutoff strategy that helps save our sanity, our favorite underrated tools, and the #1 product we would recommend listing right now for Q4 sales. Let's dive into the grind. Today, I'm joined by Anna. She's a powerhouse in the Etsy world. She's a multiple six-figure seller who has went on to become a coach for Etsy sellers to help them also be successful, and also partners with Anywhere POD. This is a personalization automation software, as well as an exclusive print-on-demand provider who helps sellers become successful creating custom, personalized products. Welcome, Anna.
Thanks for having me. And I didn't realize this earlier, but we're kind of matching today. So
Ooh,
we
we are.
must be vibing.
I wanted to, it's 60, I think 50 degrees here. And it's been
50?
like,
Oh my gosh, that's cold.
yes. Like 2 days ago, it was 85. We had like just a really unseasonably warm fall. And then it just
Yeah,
like came in strong. I'm like, okay, fall's here. I need my cozy sweaters. I need my coffee. I need my tea.
we need it all.
um,
Absolutely.
okay, so before we dive into those really exciting, hot trending products, many of them are that are lower competition because they're brand new. Like I've never even heard someone talk about some of these products. So I'm super pumped to share that with you guys. But before we jump into all of that, will you tell us a little bit more about yourself, your background, how you stumbled onto Etsy, how you became a coach and then became a partner with Anywhere POD?
Yeah. So my journey starts long time ago when Ornament actually first started with merch by Amazon. I had been selling physical products and my house had become a warehouse. I had 3 little kids and I was like, it became a lot. And then I had gone to a conference and heard about this new thing called print on demand. And all you had to do was create this design and a company would fulfill the product for you. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's crazy. I don't know how to design anything, but it sounded really appealing because of my life situation with my kids. And so this is before we had any tools and it was just Photoshop, which, anybody who tries to learn Photoshop who has no design inclinations knows like that was a climbing Mount Everest for sure. And so my first design, I like to say it was literally 2 words. This is like my first batch of designs. It was like a couple words and then the font was like looked like it had been run over. It was, it took me forever to create that first design. It was like I didn't even know where to place it. I didn't know what would fill out because this was all they had was t-shirts at the time. So I was like,
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know what, I just I was just so determined to get that first one out. It was so hard, especially using, Photoshop. So I finally got those few out. It was actually about this time of year. It was a few weeks before now that I started. And that one 2-word design that looked like it was run over, the font was run over, ended up taking off and I made $10,000 in profit that month.
Simple
Yes,
cells.
it was like simple cells, yes. And it just happened to be that I was kind of first to this concept on print on demand, and it was a very in demand product. It was a Halloween costume type of t-shirt. Still sells today. It's pretty crazy. Like I still get those royalties. I still sell it on Etsy. I was like, this is I don't know. It's crazy because now it's been like many, many, many years, which
And
is
now
why I
you have
love print
more
on demand.
listings that you've been able to double down on, but you still get
Yeah,
to,
so
yes.
actually it's funny because like literally my first go on this product that took off, I mean, literally it was like 5 weeks into me doing print on demand is when I learned a lot of the just strategies that I continued to apply to my stores as I grew into print on demand more. So I had realized I was like the first to this listing that started to sell and I was like, holy crap, like this works. And I had Googled, this was on Amazon at the time. So I searched for my product and I was literally the only one and the next day I searched for it again because I was just like, is this real, And and then I noticed another seller had listed like a version of this too. And I was like, wait a moment. they just listed this my same thing. Like, I guess I just keep going and I just like listed as many as I could.
So when you say you listed as many as you could, like different variations or the same design on different products?
So at the time, it was only t-shirts with that was really like the very beginning. Yeah. So it really was just the variations of it because it was selling so fast. And of course, more sellers kept seeing that this product was selling really well. And so I was like, wait, I call it the copycat strategy because I learned really quickly that in print on demand, because everybody can have access to your ideas, you really want to kind of take all the pieces of the pie and make those variations.
Take
So,
the time to make
and also I
variations.
learned too that my first listing, it was really ugly. But there wasn't a lot of supply, right? So people were like, yeah, I'll buy that one. But over time, as I improved my design skills, those t-shirts ended up doing better than that first design. And so that's also something I learned was that it takes iterations to really develop a bestseller that can beat the heavy competition that comes with print on demand.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, you're
So,
lucky because my first design did not sell.
yeah, yeah, I did. I mean, part of it was probably, like, just luck of the marketplace at that time. I mean, for the most part, I've had a few really lucky big runs
Mhm.
over my time. Usually, it is just the small things, and it's the consistency that outwins
Absolutely.
those, like, those big success stories that you hear. But if we were honest about it, those don't happen at nearly as often as just small wins that add up.
Absolutely. No, I completely agree. So do you think someone could do that today? Could like someone who hasn't started yet, it's beginning of October, do you think that they could list, an item and it could sell? And to that, in 2025.
Sure, in 2025, yes. I do believe that people can do that, and for a few reasons. Or I guess also the way I'd approach it too. So, first of all, the reason why you can still do it in 2025 is because the trends that were happening 10 years ago are not happening today. And so, if you can build like a keen eye for understanding trends and what people want, you can always be the first to that, just like I was the first back then,
I
right?
completely agree.
So that's gonna be design styles, that's gonna be, the type of materials that people want. Those are always shifting and changing in a marketplace, and so, like, I couldn't sell something with a chevron print because nobody's looking for chevron print anymore like they were 10
Right.
years ago,
Right.
right?
Right. The aesthetics have
So,
changed.
what?
The aesthetics have changed.
Yeah, the aesthetics have changed. Also, the ability what we can do now with print on demand is so different from when we first started. So, when I first started, I had to learn Photoshop. It was so difficult, very, very, very difficult. Now we have tools like Canva where we can intuitively just create a design. And then we have tools now like Anywhere POD where we can use AI to create new
Right.
products and
Yes.
designs that we could never, ever, ever do. And that's even recent to the last few months. So that's really, really exciting. We also have some other really exciting stuff coming out that will, again, open up a completely new door for print on demand sellers that has never been possible, but it will serve a demand that's happening in the marketplace. The other thing that I would say the last thing that would make this possible to be able to have kind of like a home run. Maybe it's not 10 grand, but maybe it's that extra $500 or at least like getting some kind of movement in your shop during this Q4 is to not be too sporadic. Like, don't spread yourself so wide, right? What you always want to be looking for is where is the money flowing? If money is if you're selling in a desert, there is no money flowing there. And so you really want to think of Etsy as like a physical marketplace where there are deserts in Etsy where people will list stuff and there is nobody there. Nothing's happening. But there are like big cities on Etsy where there's lots of money and there's lots of people, and you want to be there. You want to be where the action and the money is being exchanged. And so you really want to be looking at what is creating bestsellers because people are going there. And what your job is to just make a better version of it. And if you can follow the data and continue to just kind of test those iterations. So for me, originally it was I was becoming my own copycat to kind of try and protect this little space that I had found. But now it's a little bit different where, if you're just starting out, you wanna use that same strategy to kind of tap into this, like, where the money's happening, where the money's being exchanged, but you might need to test many iterations to find what people actually want. And most sellers aren't patient enough to really learn what somebody wants. They think there's nothing here or there's too much competition, so they jump boat and try and do something else. They might try and sell in a different niche, and then you're essentially starting over, or you might be selling in a desert where there's nobody, and so you might have a great product, but nobody cares, and you're not gonna get sales that way. So, yeah.
No, absolutely. And can you share with us a little bit more about how you began to partner with Anywhere POD and like what that product is and like how it benefits Etsy sellers?
Yeah, yeah,
And you just
absolutely.
mentioned bestsellers. Like I was just like going on and scoping out the best-selling niche right now for Q4, which is ornaments, and like going on and looking, it's like everything is personalized. That's ranking.
Yes.
Now, I personally, my very first Christmas, I had a personalization listing that took off totally crazy. I had to shut it down because I couldn't keep up with personalized orders. And this type of product, which is Anywhere POD, because it automates the personalization, it then it's such a time saver. Like that's money on the table that like I had to leave because of that. That now it is just you can just create personalized products so much faster so that it's not intimidating the way it was before. So yeah, so jump into that for us.
Yeah. Okay. Sounds good. Yeah. So a few years ago, I had another unicorn product that really, really took off. It was actually pretty crazy and life changing money, like very short time for many people. So that was really exciting. And it was a Shine On product. So Shine On is another print on demand provider. They're one of the bigger ones in the space. And they're like, hey, this is crazy because they're more like a Facebook ads kind of print on demand company, but I figured out Etsy and Amazon. And so they were like, "Hey, you should do a course. We'll partner up and launch it to teach people how to do Etsy and Amazon." I was like, "Cool, let's do it." So that's how I got into the coaching world. I liked helping people. I don't know, I'm a stay-at-home mom. I like the idea that other moms can have something for themselves, that we can make some money together. You know, a lot of people are very happy to have an extra $500 a month. So if I could facilitate that, that was really exciting to me. So then what happened was a couple years ago, one of my students had a personalized product like you that really took off.
Mhm.
I mean, she was getting like 100 to 200 orders a day. It was a
That's
lot.
awesome.
And she had ultra personalization on it. There was
Mhm.
like 5 parts that you could personalize. So she had multiple VAs that were trying to do all the artwork, including herself. They were working around the clock, and she was getting to the point where she was gonna have to cancel those orders as well. And we were talking about like 2 or 300 orders that she was behind on before the cutoff date for this holiday. And, I was like, "It's 2023. There has to be a solution to this." And so I started asking in Facebook groups. And Chris, the founder of Anywhere POD, like messaged me and was like, "Hey, I think I can help." And he sent me a message. And within 2 days, everything was set up. All of her products were completely caught up. And she was like, "Well, now that I have this tool, I don't think I need my VAs anymore. Like, what do I do with them if software can automate all this?" So Chris and I stayed friends over that time because Anywhere POD was relatively new, and I was relatively new to coaching, and we just enjoyed talking about print on demand together. And I loved what he was doing. I felt like Anywhere POD was kind of like how in the past we had landline telephones, and we've moved to now, of course, like cell phones and tablets and all that. I kind of feel like that's what Anywhere POD is this kind of like moved into this new phase of how we do print on demand. And I'll get into that here in just a second. But I was just really fascinated by what he's done. And I had some products that were kind of causing me troubles in terms of
Mhm.
manual work. And to move that over to Anywhere POD and make that hands off has been absolutely incredible. I love that I don't have to do that anymore. Um, this last year, Chris was like, "Hey, do you wanna start helping me with Anywhere POD?" And I was like, "Yes, I love Anywhere POD." And, so I always say I'm the cheerleader to Anywhere POD
Mhm.
because, well, he's like the mastermind and he can just turn it into, like, ideas into magic. I love talking about its use cases and because while it is a personalization tool, we do so much more.
Mhm.
We do workflow. I mean, my favorite part of it is really the workflow.
Mhm.
We do automation for workflows and can do a lot of really cool things. So we can talk a little bit more about that in a second. But in terms of personalization, Anywhere POD has a few different ways that we can do personalization. So we can do basic text and text and like dates. You
Hmm.
can also do clip art. So if you want a customer to be able to choose like flowers or something, they
Hmm.
can do that and then customize their names. And then recently we launched a very cool feature where you can do AI art filters or effects. So like you could take our pictures, like our faces right here today, and we could turn it into like royalty. So we could like have ourselves sitting on a throne,
Okay,
or you
cool.
can have chibi art or something like that. And
Which
what's
is really
really, really
popular.
cool is yes, it's very, very popular to do that ultra personalized effect is that on Etsy, customers can actually see this artwork. They generate it themselves with our and then they check out. So we don't even have to go chase down customers anymore for the personalization aspect on
Which is huge.
yeah, which is so huge. Like, we had one student who was just like, "Oh, yeah, before I had my live preview set up, I just got a customer to respond to me. It's been 60 days." So, yeah, I'm like, "How did you keep that order open for so long?" Like, I would have closed it out. But,
Hmm.
I don't know what she did. But, yeah, 60 days because nobody's expecting to have to do more work after the order is
Right.
done, right? So,
You have
with
to
our
send the
live
proof to
previews
them, and then if there's a correction,
yes.
correct it, send the proof back, and it could take, like, a week. Yes, yes, or 60
It
days in
could
that
take
case.
a week, and then you have to do the order manually, like, there's so much to it, and so, yeah, with live previews now, the customer's handling all that heavy lifting, and it's right there, like, it's all built into the workflow, and you don't even have to you can check it if you want to, but with Anywhere POD, you can just send it on to the print provider too. So that's completely automated. So yeah, it's been really fun, and I am super excited because we are really changing. It is not just really a tool; it's really changing how you do print on demand. And things that used to take me, like I can create 20 listings on Etsy now in 2 minutes, fully optimized. All the attributes, all the personalization or no personalization if you don't do personalization, all the title, tags, descriptions. It's really just a few clicks of a button and you're
I
done.
know you're
So
not set up
that's
to do
why I'm
that
excited
today.
about it.
You're not set up to do that today, but, like, could you come on sometime and, like, show us what that looks like? That would be
I would
amazing.
love to show it
Because
to you.
I just
Yeah, I
had a
mean,
couple of people today, comment on a video that I did last week, where I talked about the cookie platter, which is through Anywhere POD and the personalization of it, and it's super high search, low competition product, pretty new to the market, and they're like, "Well, would you mind showing us, like, well, what about the mock-ups and, like, how time consuming is this?" I'm like, that would be amazing to see you, like, in action, like, to create 20 listings like that. I would love that.
yes, yeah, I would love to show you because to me, personalization is a very hot topic right now, but
Yes.
if I'm honest, I think the workflow feature, the like being able to do the workflow, get everything done in a few clicks of a button, that's the superhero of Anywhere POD. That's my favorite. Chris might have a different favorite, but that's my favorite because I'm like to me, I need to get products out. The
Yes.
faster I can get products out, the faster I can see what's selling, what's creating action in my store, right? But if I'm a seller, if I'm a brand new seller and you're doing everything manually, if one seller does everything manually, right? And it takes them in total 10 or 15 hours to get 20 listings done. And let's say you're completely brand new, so you still have to go through a learning curve a little bit with Anywhere POD.
Absolutely.
You have to do the same tasks, but you're learning how to automate it. And let's say that takes you, let's say 2 hours. Well, that is a significant difference in the results you're gonna get in terms of
Absolutely.
time and burnout, right? You don't wanna burn out quickly. You're gonna have to learn the skills either way. So I would rather learn how to automate all the things instead of learn the manual process. Yeah, so it's that I love it. I love it so
Alright.
much.
Alright, it's a date. I'm gonna have you on soon, and we're gonna do, like, I wanna see the workflow because I that's why I haven't wrapped my head around is, like, the workflow part. So,
Yeah,
yeah. So now let's go ahead and
that's it.
jump into the good stuff and really
Okay.
dive into products for Q4 that maybe people haven't heard of before because they're newer or a lower competition or just, different perspectives of that.
Okay, so our first product, we can talk about our favorite one is going to be Deco Plate. So I have it pulled up here on my screen. We love Deco Plate because it is very low competition, but has a lot of demand, and I feel like there's a lot of flexibility in the use that you can do with their their dinnerware. So Deco Plate has a variety of like servingware. So they have plates and bowls, this platter right here. And it's really fun because you can sell them individually, but you could also sell them as sets. So, like, if you think about like a baby's first birthday, somebody might want the cup and the plate, and they want it customized with their favorite animal and their name and all that. And you can easily do that with their products combined with Anywhere POD. So this serving platter does really, really well. And they have had continued growth selling this. Like they've doubled their sales year after year during Christmas and Mother's Day. So it really is kind of like a secret product that I think just nobody really knows about, or I don't know. I don't know why it's so like such a hidden gem, but it is.
I think a lot of people don't realize that you can make it with print on demand. I just released a video, I think on Monday, about this
Mhm.
product, because it's just like flying off the shelves on Etsy, and part of it is because, it is lower competition, and not everyone knows about it, so I think it's, Cookies for Grandma is the one that's really hot,
Uh-huh.
Cookies for Santa, yeah, it's just there's a lot of different niches you can take it into, like Mother's Day, Father's Day. It's just a really popular product that people are willing to pay money for because it's like a high perceived value product.
Yes. Yes. And I think that's really important is especially with print on demand, we really have to be cognizant of our margins because they're a little bit tighter than if you were just to be making this yourself directly, right? And so this gives us that room because you can sell it for a lot more. This gives you plenty of room to make a very healthy margin, which it's hard to find that with print on demand products, to have such a large margin built in. And Deco Plate definitely brings that to the table. So yeah, so here are some of their other products. We have a plate, their bowl, their platter. Those are kind of the ones that we talk about the most, but check them out because you might have an idea that sparks that could take off in your store as well.
And they're really high
So
quality products.
yeah,
And by the way, for anyone listening, if you want to try out Anywhere POD and try out these platters, make sure you check out my video. I think it was about how it was like, brand new product, that no one knows about, no one else is selling. And I walk you through how to create one of these. But I do have a link in the description where you can try Anywhere POD for free for 30 days, where you could go ahead and launch these products and see how they do for you in your shop. So make sure you check that out.
yes, definitely, definitely. So yeah, so that is Deco Plate. Their plates aren't breakable. That's another great part of these. I think that's why people are attracted to them because you can have kids around and they're not going to be too fragile. So yeah, definitely come check them out and use that link to get 1 free month with Anywhere POD. Okay, so another product that I was really excited about is Ornament. So Printify they have a lot of options. So I like Printify. I think their ornaments are really, really nice. Shine On also recently came out with some ornaments. I'll talk about those in a second. But for Printify, I really like Printify for the metal ornaments and for the ceramic ornaments. So people do actually look for different types of ornaments, like the materials, because they might like the look of certain ones. Like glass is going to be more like for like weddings, something that's a little bit more elegant, right? And if you think about trees, some people are going to have like very, very elegant high-end trees and they're going to want really, really beautiful ornaments. And I feel like glass and even metal could serve that purpose. And so people are actually looking specifically for glass. They'll also be looking for a certain material based off events. So, wedding ornaments are going to tend to be a nicer material, like glass or ceramic. And so, you want to also think of that when you're thinking of your customer. Like, what's their intent? What feeling are they trying to maintain when they're buying that ornament? And what do they want on their tree? The last type of material I really like is acrylic. And that is for the families, for the families with kids, because we know that kids break things, especially when they're little. They're excited about their ornaments. And so the fact that you can have a personalized ornament that's going to last through the years, even decades, is a huge attraction for families. And I know I feel that way because I have ornaments from my kids when they were like 2 or 3, and they're so breakable. And I'm always worried because I'm like, that's a piece of their childhood that I don't want broken. like, And so that's the nice thing about being able to offer acrylic ornaments is people have the same sentiment and they want that for their kids. And so they're going to seek out a non-breakable option. So for me, acrylic ornaments, I really like to Printify does have them. Um, but I do prefer Shine-On's options for acrylic ornaments. They just barely came out and they're right here. They're really, really pretty. So we do have a few different shapes. You have the circle. I think that tends to just be the most popular and most versatile for designs. The heart is probably the next. I've done pretty well with hearts. And then you have a Christmas tree, a paw, and a star. So you have a lot of options, but I love the pricing on here. Um, it's only $6 an ornament. So ornaments is another one that if you can add personalization, then you can charge quite a bit for this ornament and have a great margin. And I really like the options that are available to us now with these different providers. So I'd definitely be checking out Printify and Shine On for their ornament options.
And just to show you guys the power of personalization right now on Etsy, I just typed in ornament. It's one of the top selling. And in fact, I actually just ran a search using Etsy Radar, which is an Etsy research tool, and to find like the top selling product with this really high competition keyword. So I mean, even to just rank on this page, the word Christmas, like they're selling like boatloads of these. Okay, and it's ornaments that really is the biggest driver right now. And let's take a look at this is the top row, personalized. Also note that it's a milestone ornament. So a first. It's a first Christmas as a family of 3, first Christmas as a family of 4, first Christmas as a family of 5. One way to add value to this would be to add a stocking with a paw print, including the animals. Families love that. But so keeping in mind milestone, adding the year, people really like to have a new ornament every year or to commemorate the year that the milestone is happening. Milestone ornament, first Christmas married. And it's personalized. This one, same thing, personalized. In fact, this one actually looks like it's actually a ceramic ornament and they've used AI to create this 3D sort of design, which is not hard to do with AI now. So that's just a really great way to think outside the box with AI is to create like these 3D sort of pictures. Because basically what they did is they just took this concept here, the first Christmas one right here, and they made it 3D. So just something to think about here. So, if someone has to come in and did our first Christmas as Mr. and Mrs. and made it 3D yet, you should do that. But personalized, okay? This one's personalized pet ornaments, personalized family ornaments. Once again, commemorating a memory, a milestone. So those are really important and they tend to be lower competition, milestone ones. But because they're emotion driven, people are very willing to spend money on it. Even if we're in a bad economy or something, even then they're willing to pay money for a memory, or to create a memory or to commemorate a memory. And so personalization is just huge. Personalized. I mean, you go through and pretty much anything that's ranking is personalized. So that's how important it is. And that's how powerful it is at driving sales.
So this is another little secret that I really love because it really plays to kind of some of the strategies that I've used over the years to grow my shop or find new winners. And I just like barely learned this myself, like maybe in last year, because I think this is relatively new to Printify anyways, but they have an early access tab in their catalog. So if you come up to catalog, you're going to see it right here, early access. I would definitely be paying attention to this area because here is they're giving you the new products, and I think the key to this is they don't do any mock-ups, which I don't really mind because you can create a lot of mock-ups now. I with Nano Banana, it does a really good job at not altering the product. And so the key to this page here is that you're going to want to make sure that you're finding products that have low competition, high search volume. And that's kind of a secret here because if you can be kind of the first to market to some of these high demand products, you can really like have some great sales just right out of the gate. I think people underestimate like how many products there just are that you can use for print on demand. You don't have to do apparel. You don't have to do mugs. I mean, for a long time that was kind of the only offerings, and I think that's kind of lingered in the community for a long time, like that's a great option and it's not terrible, but I personally have well, I do sell t-shirts because I that was kind of the first option. I have found a lot of success not selling apparel or mugs. And I think partially it's because I tend to design better for things that are pretty simple because I'm not a great designer. And also I like to try and do stuff that really people don't talk about, and you can find that in Printify's early access catalog. And I think that's really it's a kind of like a secret option.
And Printify does a lot of market research before they release a new product.
Mhm.
So they know that there's demand for these products. That's why they're offering them in their catalog. And so if you can get in early before there's any competition, you're definitely setting yourself up to make money.
Yes, 100%.
And were there any other products that you want to share with us before we jump into like this
Yeah,
relevance
I had
portion?
one more that I thought I would share, just because I like the versatility. So I have found over the years that products that have versatility to them, usually tend to do really, really well. Let me share this on my screen here. Yeah, when we have versatility, that means we can put a little bit more creativity to it and stand out from our competition, and I really like that a lot. Shine On recently came out with a new acrylic product, and I was like, this is cool. Like, I had so many ideas for this. It has great data behind it when it comes to keywords. And it's this printed acrylic block right here. So yeah, guys, I've kind of been on a Shine On kick recently. Like they've just released some really good products at really good prices. I love Printify. Don't feel like you have to choose one or the other. You can sell from both. One benefit of Anywhere POD is that your whole process gets streamlined too, with going back to workflow. So you can sell from any of these print providers and your whole process will be streamlined. So it's very, very simple working with multiple providers. So yeah, so here we have is an acrylic block. So in the past they had these like these acrylic um products with the stands, and I never really loved them, but when they came out with just the plain block like this, I was like, "Ooh, this just got a whole lot better." So some ideas I had for this was the memorial niche. A lot of people when they have a loved one passed away, they will put like a sign or something to commemorate them at events like a wedding. And so this would be something that you could very easily put a picture of that loved one on, have that automated so you're not actually having to create that artwork. And then they could even create like a little memorial quote. And that person could, like, as a seller, you could let the buyer put something in there, or you could put saved a seat for in memory of da 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 da, right? So that could be one option. Another one could be like an award. These are really nice awards. And so you could do that for like employee appreciation, boss appreciation. I mean, you could even do like sports, you could do gag gifts, like anything like that, where you create an award. Um, I think this could also do really well for business QR codes. So if you serve business owners, like if you had a store that was geared toward like boss moms and you know there's so many products you can sell towards that niche, this could be one where you add a QR code so people could leave a design. It's very elegant. It could work very well for salon owners, restaurant owners. um and then another idea that I had for this is, of course, just like regular photos. So you could do a picture here. You could do like the newspaper layout for as a wedding gift, where you put a picture of someone and then it kind of has like the title, like it's laid out like a newspaper. These are very popular. But the cool thing about it is you can do these and make them so ultra personalized, and it's very easy to set up, yet you're offering something very, very, very unique, and in demand. So those are some of the ideas I had with this product. I think it's very, very reasonably priced. It has that very high perceived value, like Deco plate. So yeah, that those are the ideas I had for today.
Yeah, I could see someone doing really well with this too with the senior niche because people like to have like a senior photo up and, maybe with a phrase or the school logo. But yeah, there's so many different things you could do with that.
I love that. Yeah, I didn't think about that. It could be like a senior gift. At first, I thought you were talking about like the elderly. I was like,
No, like
cool,
a
elderly.
senior,
Okay, but now I
a
get what
senior
you're saying.
graduating.
Yeah.
Yes. Because they
Yeah,
want
yeah,
something,
that
like,
would be
nice at
great
their
graduation
party.
gift. Yep, yep. This could also be work well for like religious events, like a baptism, or trying to think of another one when they turn 16. Anyways, religious events could also work well for this. So yeah, there's a lot of versatility here, and that's what I really like about it. And acrylic plaques like this are they're well received. People look for them because they can't break, but they have like a very nice aesthetic that people are, that's in demand right now.
All right, time for the fun segment of Spill the Beans. Can you share with us, and I'll share some of my stories too, your worst holiday mistake as an Etsy seller?
Yes, yes, I can.
There's
So I think one of the worst mistakes that I made was I mean it wasn't bad. There weren't any other options, but it caused a problem. And that was when I had this product do really well. It was starting to take off. And I wanted to improve the listing on it. And I was trying to make the experience better for the customer by offering multiple options. And at the time in the print on demand space, there wasn't a way to set up giving so many options in the way that this listing was set up that it would just be automated. Like the print provider couldn't just pull the order from it. So what I was doing was I was manually processing these orders as they came in because people would usually pick multiple options from this listing or these listings. So it was really great for like a month for this holiday and the sales were great, but the problem was is I had to deal with every single order. And so what ended up happening was when then Christmas came around, like November came around, I really hadn't put a lot of listings up. I just didn't have anything ready for the following months because I was just starting to build my stores. And so that really taught me a lot about bottlenecking yourself
Mhm,
and protecting your time and how you do things because when you can't build anymore and you're stuck at fulfillment and manual work, it's really, really hard to grow your shop. And so that really changed how I do things now. And that's why I'm like, try to be allergic to all manual effort,
mhm.
right? Because the more hands-on I have to be, the more I realize I can't do money-making tasks. So yeah, that was like, it was exciting because you're like, oh, I'm getting all these sales. But then when you realize like how time intensive that was, I would say like it's very demotivating and not fun, not
The
worth it.
soul-sucking stuff.
It was the soul-sucking stuff. Yes, yes. So I am so glad that, there are solutions for that, but that definitely stuck with me for a very, very long time and still does when I'm considering what I'm putting my efforts into.
For me, my biggest mistake, my first holiday was, not setting my, like, receive by, for the holidays,
Oh, yeah.
making it too close to Christmas. And so I had orders that, like, were arriving after Christmas, and so when I should have been enjoying my time with my family and relaxing, I was having this nightmare, issue of trying to track down orders that hadn't arrived yet because everything, like you said, bottlenecks, basically after Thanksgiving. And you have, like, a 1 to 2 week window where shipping still goes well, the print provider's on time,
Yeah.
and that closer that you get, especially that 2 weeks right before Christmas, everyone is backed up. The mail is backed up.
Yeah.
The print providers are getting backed up. And so you kind of start to run into those nightmare situations. So I'm very generous now with my guarantee by Christmas date. I pretty much don't guarantee my Christmas items unless it's like an express shipping item. I pretty much after the first weekend, like probably the first week and a half of December, I stop offering like guaranteed buy, so that I'm not having to track down orders. I'm not having to give people refunds. And it has saved me a lot of headaches.
Yes. That is such good advice because there is nothing more stressful than being in that position.
Mhm.
Like, because you're like, this is somebody's Christmas and I have no control over what's happening. Like, so yeah, being proactive on those sell by dates, very, very important for you to
Yes.
be able to also personally enjoy the holiday season.
No, because you start to sweat it because you're like, you get orders and you're like, oh, you're excited because of course it's an order, but you're like, oh no, is it going to come in time? So don't do that to yourself, guys. The money isn't worth it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not, and that is a hard thing about print on demand because, like, if you were to personally fulfill that order, you do get about 2 more weeks of selling that you can really guarantee, but we don't do that, and so the best practice really is to be upfront with your customers and also upfront with yourself so that you are enjoying yourself and not getting yourself in trouble trying to chase, like, some more money.
Yep. So what is your personal cutoff date for Christmas?
I think the same as you, like, yeah, that first week, but I also try and, like, really pay attention to the print provider because some definitely are a little bit further. I try to be, like, a few days even before their official cutoff, because they always get behind. And, despite what they say, I never fully trust that. So yeah, I would agree with you, like, the first week, if not a little bit sooner.
So jumping into another topic here, if you could sell just one product this Christmas, if you're only allowed to sell one product and you're a brand new seller, what would you choose it to be?
Don't do that to me. Oh, there's so many good products. Like,
It doesn't have to even be like it could be like your trusty standby, it can be a mug, like whatever. Like just be honest. Like if I was just gonna sell one item, what would it be for
what
Q4?
I know. I mean, I'm dying here. I like Deco plate. I do like Deco plate, because of the margins, but I like the versatility of ornaments. I'm gonna go with ornaments. I feel like that's very relatable. Like, everybody knows a good ornament. So let's go with ornaments.
Okay, I think that's I completely agree. That's why I would recommend someone sell a personalized ornament. All right, one more question. What are the 3 most it doesn't have to be 3, but I'll just say 3 as a random number. What are the 3 most, like, underrated Etsy tools that you would swear by to use? To either help grow your shop
Okay.
or to make something faster, easier, research? What would it be? Like, what do you actually use?
Okay. Okay. So of course I'm going to talk about Anywhere POD, and I'll probably talk about the tools within Anywhere POD and then my favorite SEO tool because I think that's really, really important. So Anywhere POD, 100%, because it's not just really a tool. Like I said before, it's a way of doing print on demand and implementing your strategies and moving quickly. So I'm going to say in Anywhere POD, first of all, it's the rapid lister. And that tool allows you to upload 2 or as many listings as you want. I usually say 2 to 20 because that's, like, very manageable. Most people can create 20 designs. And so with, AI, you can actually fill in all of your titles, tags, and descriptions, and fill in all your Etsy attributes with just, like, one click, and that's
Wow.
all in our rapid list. So I love, love that tool. Like I said, I think that's the superhero because you can just work so efficiently and get that out, like, all those listings out so quickly. And then I would say, like, another tool within Anywhere POD is gonna be our mockup template. So that will automatically generate all of your mockups once you have it set up for, like, all future products. So, like, let's say you have a mockup for a circle ornament. So you set up that template once, and then whenever you create a mockup, or sorry, whenever you create a circle ornament, that's just going to automatically create the listing while you do the other stuff with the rapid lister. Like, it's just going to fill in the title, tags, and description. So that all kind of works, like, together. That's part of the workflow, but, like, if you were only doing one listing, it was still nice to be able to just have that mockup automatically generated for you. It just saves so much time to not have to, like,
Mhm.
download it and create it, then download it, then upload it. Um, I just think that's, like, a huge time saver, but mockups are super, super important because obviously that's what attracts people to your listing.
Absolutely.
So my last tool would be eRank because I like that it's like a kindergarten system where it's like green,
Yes.
orange, yellow, red.
Yes.
Green good, red bad.
Yes. Absolutely. I have
I
found
like
a
the
lot of keyword
simplicity.
gems based,
Yes.
from eRank, absolutely.
Yes. I find that while we have all these cool tools to pretty much, like, automate our whole, like, manual process, keyword research is non-negotiable. You need to understand who you're selling to. You need to understand what they are typing in to find your product, and happens through your keyword research. You also need to know what the competition is. Like, you need to know these things. They're, like, a must.
Absolutely.
So for me, I find eRank to be just the most user-friendly. They also allow you to download a CSV file, which we use to help our AI produce our titles, tags, and descriptions in the Rapid Lister. So that all kind of works together. But I do like how simple eRank is to be able to kind of spy on your competition, find those really good keywords, and then find those like underserved niches as well.
Okay. Well, thank you so much, Anna. If you want Anna to come back and show us her magic, like one click, 20 listings workflow, type workflow. If you want Anna to come back and show us her magic, one click, 20 listing workflow, because like that is just mind blowing to me for Etsy for print on demand. So if you want to see that, type workflow below. All right. Thank you so
Sounds good.
much, Anna. We'll see you soon. Everybody, work hard this Q4. I believe in you. I know that you're just going to be a rock star this Q4. We'll see you guys next time.